prepare to race onto the field. Everything is riding on this football game. So there's a special intensity, a special urgency. Here come the Volunteers. Wherever you listen throughout the world, it's football time in Tennessee.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley, and we're going to do a video. We're going to shoot straight this evening because, look, I like to hype guys up. I get excited when a new coach comes in, when things start to change. I like to be optimistic. I like to be positive. I like to get excited and bring energy. And look, at this point, we haven't seen Josh Heupel coach a single game for the University of Tennessee. So I choose to be optimistic until he gives me reason to think otherwise. But there's an article that's been kind of floating around the last 24 hours. I'm going to share it up. We're going to talk about it. We're going to shoot straight tonight. And then I'm going to get your opinion because I want to hear from you guys. That's what makes this show click. That's what makes this show fun, this channel. But before we get into it, as always, guys, do me a favor. Go ahead and smash that like button. It's just below the video. Just click that little thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. It plays into the analytics of YouTube. It helps this channel grow. And also, if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop new content. I know the Indie Kid is working right now as we speak on a baseball preview for this weekend as Tennessee has an opportunity to win the SEC East. So we'll be dropping that tomorrow around lunchtime. So tune in for that. Check that out. But enough of that. Let's get into the video. Let's talk about it. Again, this article, it's been floating around for about 24 hours. Came out yesterday, right at 24 hours. And a lot of people are talking about it. And there's a lot of Josh Heupel haters out there. The article says from 24/7 Sports, Josh Heupel ranks near the bottom of Power 5 coaching rankings. And like I said, I get it. A lot of haters out there. A lot of people come into the comment section of these videos. They talk about how it's just another coach, and in 3 years we'll be searching for another one. 15 years of misery, yada, 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 battered VAWLS syndrome. I get it. Like I said at the top of the video, I choose to be optimistic. I did the same thing with Butch Jones. I did the same thing with Derek Dooley. I did the same thing with Lane Kiffin, Jeremy Pruitt. The list goes on and on. Does that make me a sheep? Does that make me an idiot? I just choose to see how things play out. Anybody that's been here for any length of time knows how many shows we did where I defended Butch Jones to the end of the earth. But when it was time to go, it's time to go. And we made a lot of videos about how they should get rid of Butch Jones. We did the same thing with Jeremy Pruitt. This channel blew up last season because of all the videos, all the live streams where we talked about the need to get rid of Jeremy Pruitt. But me as a person, the way I look at things, the way I analyze things, I choose to see the product on the field. The reality is none of us know. None of us know if Josh Heupel is going to get it done or not. And I posted a poll in the private group. I wish I would have let it have a little bit more time because I know this isn't going to be accurate. But a handful of people had voted whether or not Josh Heupel is going to get it done at Tennessee. 100% of the votes said yes. Now, is that my fault? Is that because, that's the Talkin VAWLS private group on Facebook and you guys come in and, you listen to the show and I hype things up. I'm excited. I think Josh Heupel's doing a good job with the transfer portal. I am excited about Josh Heupel at Tennessee. But like I said earlier, I was also excited about Lane Kiffin, Derek Dooley, Butch Jones, Jeremy Pruitt. The reality is none of us know. We will have to see how it plays out. But there are a lot of Josh Heupel haters out there. Let's go back and take a look at the article. It says 1 year can make a big difference in college football, especially when it comes to how we perceive head coaches. Depending on how the last season went, their seat could go from blazing hot to ice cold or vice versa. But that's the truth. That's 100% the truth. Look at Jeremy Pruitt towards the end of 2019, put together a nice little winning streak, wins the first 2 games of 2020, and then the wheels fall off and we are done. We're done. The article goes on to say on Monday, CBS Sports released their Power 5 coach rankings for 2021. One of the newest Power 5 head coaches, Tennessee, Josh Heupel, was very close to the bottom. Heading into his first year as the VAWLS coach, Heupel sits at number 52. His diminishing returns at UCF were a factor. I'm so sick of that. I am so sick of hearing that. His diminishing returns at UCF were a factor in the low ranking from CBS Sports. It goes on to say here, unlike the other first-year Power 5 coaches we've discussed, Heupel comes to Knoxville with head coaching experience. He went 28-8 at UCF with a conference title, and that's boosted his stock a bit with our voters. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Heupel's first season at UCF was his best, and the record worsened with each passing season. Well, of course it did. Of course it worsened. Why did it worsen? Well, probably because they only lost one game in Josh Heupel's first year. They went 12-1. The only loss coming to number 11 LSU, 40-32. Ran the table, lost the last game of the season by 8. Now, of course, you lost one game. So what do you think happens in year 2? Is the expectation for UCF to go undefeated or to go 12-1 every year? You know, it's such a catchy little thing that you can put into an article. Well, his record got worse every year. Yeah, of course it did. Of course it did, because he lost one game his first season. And before you guys drop into the comment section and start talking about, oh, how he just rode Scott Frost and it was his talent, this, that, and the other, and Josh Heupel can't recruit, but Scott Frost can. I did a video on that a couple of months ago. The proof is in the pudding. Josh Heupel recruited at UCF just as good as or better than Scott Frost, you could argue. So I don't want to hear, well, it's just all Scott Frost talent. Josh Heupel can't recruit. Don't even come into the comment section. In fact, don't come to the comment section and just tell me Josh Heupel sucks, he's never going to win. That's the most ridiculous, pathetic, lazy comment you could possibly leave. Next to complaining about the music. I don't know which one's worse. So let's look at his second season at UCF, 2019. Josh Heupel lost 3 games that year, went 10-3, 10-win season. Of course, he lost more games. Boogie, his record got worse. Yeah, it's hard to go 12-1 every season. They lost 3 games. When you look at their schedule, when you look at their record, they lost to Pitt 35-34, 1-point game. 1-point game. They lost to Cincinnati 27-24, and they lost to Tulsa 34-31. 3 games. They lost 3 games by a total of 7 points. All 3 losses, winnable games. Could have been 13-0. Could have been, should have been, could have, should have, would have. None of that matters. None of that matters. They went 10-3. But when you break it down, like I said, when you go back to the article, it's real catchy to say he got worse every year. He got worse every year. That's the catchy thing that everybody likes to talk about, how Josh Heupel got worse every year at UCF. But when you look at the truth, you look at the reality, Josh Heupel and UCF had an opportunity to go undefeated again in 2019. Now, the big one everybody likes to talk about, everybody likes to argue about, the one they really love to rub in your face is 2020. Because in 2020, Josh Heupel, UCF, obviously COVID season, they went 6-4. 6-4. But when you look at that 2020 football team, and I know where I will agree with you guys, I know what's going to be said in the comments, and I will agree. COVID is not an excuse. I didn't let Jeremy Pruitt use COVID as an excuse, so I won't let Josh Heupel use it as an excuse. But something you do have to look at is the number of players that opted out. I don't think it's fair to say, well, Tennessee had to cancel spring practice, Jeremy Pruitt gets a pass. But it's kind of hard to overlook the fact that UCF had 10 players opt out of the 2020 season, including their backup quarterback, starting corner, and starting defensive tackle. So that's something to take into account, something you should consider when you're looking at the catchphrase of, well, he got worse every year. Yeah, he did. He did. He could have gone undefeated in 2019, but he didn't. He lost 3 games by a total of 7 points. That's about 6 quarters of offense for Jeremy Pruitt's team last year. 2020, they lost to Tulsa 34-26. They lost to a pretty good Memphis team, 50-49. Lost to a good number 7 Cincinnati team, 36-33. And then finally, they lost to BYU, number 16 BYU, 49-23. So a couple of big losses there, a couple of close, winnable games. So when you ask me what I think about Josh Heupel and where he ranks in the Power Five, I think the jury's still out. And I think that's what we have to keep in mind. Like I said, guilty as charged. I come onto this channel. I hype up this team. I hype up Coach Heupel. I like what he's doing. But the reality is we're not going to find out till this fall. So if Josh Heupel comes out and doesn't get it done, I'm sure the comments will be flooded. But Boogie said, well, Boogie, remember when you said? What I'm saying is the jury is out. If Josh Heupel doesn't get it done on Saturdays, I will be the first one to let you guys know. Believe me, that's something that I pride this channel on. We keep it real. We keep it real. So you know the deal, guys. Leave me a comment. Let me know where you stand on this thing. Is Josh Heupel one of the worst coaches in Power 5? Or are things being a little blown out of proportion? Are you all in? Are you all out? Yes or no? Can Josh Heupel get it done at Tennessee? Leave me a comment. Let me know. If you have not done so yet, please do smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. And also, you can take a look at this. Show us a little love. Show us a little support. You can pick up the official merchandise of the Talkin' VAWLS Network at bonfire.com/store/Talkin' VAWLS. The link to that will be in the description below. But you can see all the merch here as I scroll through it. Any and all support is greatly appreciated. Also, a lot of new people joining the channel, becoming members. You gain access to custom Talkin' VAWLS emojis. Just 99 cents a month. We appreciate that support. There's a little join button down below, right beside the subscribe button. If you want to join the channel, we would appreciate that. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on Friday, May the 28th, as we watch the 98 National Championship game live on air. Should be a good time. A lot of fun hanging out with you guys. It's been a minute, but the Four Horsemen will be back together. JP, Dauber, myself, and the Indy Kid will all be on air. So look forward to that. But that's going to wrap it up. This is the Talkin' VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
The songs how like me growing